Bulldogs, let's see what's happening this week on Code Blue News. Jediah takes a look at the reopening of Motivation Church, Raquel checks out Khalil's Kitchen, a restaurant located in Brockton, and Brianna visits a bookstore owned by one of our very own teachers. Now please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Hey Bulldogs, I'm Sam Hobart here with Dallas Rodriguez Vieira. Welcome back to Code Blue Season 4.
We hope everyone enjoyed their long weekend and is happy to almost be at the weekend yet again.
And the weekend means no responsibilities.
You're right, Sam. However, sophomores, you have a little job to do. Mrs. Callahan has emailed you with information about class dues. If you did not receive an email, please reach out to Mrs. Callahan.
Also, to those who have recently turned 18, you have a responsibility as well. Be sure to register to vote for the upcoming local town election. You can do so by visiting the town hall and seeing the town clerk.
Responsibilities come in all different shapes and sizes, and many feel a responsibility to be together with their group, all connected. We have a story from Jediah LaPlanche who highlights what it means to be connected again for Motivation Church.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Motivation Church has been forced to close its doors for in-person events. For the first time in almost 2 years, Motivation Church is opening their doors back up for live in-person Bible study.
But I'm not really nervous about being here or physically in the building for an event like this because a part of my job just over the last couple of years during the pandemic has been to be around people. So like any of my fears or cautions or anxieties about being in larger groups or even like medium-sized groups, I'm not really nervous about because I'm kind of like, I've dealt with that enough to kind of like be okay with it, or it's normalized for me. And I know that, you know, we practice all the necessary precautions or regulations that coincide with the CDC laws and rules. So I'm cool. I know it's going to be a good time. I know everybody's going to be safe.
So it's very important that we link in and we lock in and we get involved with Bible study. So
Bible study, the last one I was here for, it was online. I think being in person, it's different, and there's more people are involved more. There's more questions. I feel like people are comfortable in person than being on the computer, and just I feel like a lot of people, they feel like somebody else is going to ask the question and they don't really participate online. And it's just good to be in person, just fellowship and just even hanging out after church or after Bible study and before Bible study. I think it brings a different kind of experience being in person. I'm more of a in-person person. I like to be face-to-face. I like to feel your energy, feel your vibe. It's more difficult for me to kind of read you and understand you via a computer or like text message or even phone call. So in person makes it better for me to kind of know the room, read the room. I think it's better for, I mean, I don't know. I would say from my eyes, it's easier for even the leaders who are pouring into us to kind of read us and to pour into us, because body language is important in people. So I think being in person is 1,000% better than being online.
This has been Jediah LaPlanche. Now back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Jediah.
Now, if you didn't already know, our basketball teams have truly been showing up. The boys' record is currently 7 wins and 3 losses, while the girls are 4-5.
This is exactly why Chuck took the opportunity to do a mid-season check-in with the boys' basketball team and see how things are looking.
With Coach Gifford always finding the best starting 5 year in and year out, the Holbrook Bulldogs boys basketball team has been highly competitive over the past couple of years. However, during last year's COVID season, the team had put up one of their worst records in team history. Returning juniors Owen Burke and Malachi Desiree were named team captains this year.
Yeah, me and Malachi have definitely stepped up. It just feels, it definitely feels more like we're captains and we're older.
Last year I didn't really communicate as well with my teammates, so coming into this year, I had a talk with Mr. Gifford. He really told me, you're a captain now, you got to step up, you got to really be a leader. So I just took that to the heart and really been putting my all into this.
Yeah, so a lot of us have been practicing over the off season, but I knew going into the season, we've all been through the same as last year. Last year was a tough season, so that kind of prepared us mentally for the next season. We'd had one win. It was just a rough season. Closing towards this season, we got Armani coming in, so that definitely boosted our confidence.
We came into the season pretty hopeful. We knew we was going to be definitely better than last year, but I mean, nobody really expects to be 7-1. Owen's been with Gifford since 7th grade, so him and Gifford are always 1 and 2. So whatever Gifford says, Owen always echoes it.
He's the best coach I've ever had. He's been through a lot. He's seen all different types of players, which is awesome. And then he comes to coach us and putting us through drills, give us new plays.
One thing that I think separates us from other teams is all the people on the team are actually close friends. So that gives us a whole different type of chemistry that other teams don't have. So communicating on the court, practicing together, playing together is just, we're on a different level than any other team.
This has been Chuck LaRossi reporting for Code Blue News. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Chuck.
All of this anchoring is just making me so hungry. I am so hungry.
Well, Mr. I'm so hungry. Lucky for you, Raquel has just the perfect place. She gives us an insight into a special little restaurant known as Khalil's Kitchen.
Aside from the health impacts of COVID, many lost their jobs as a result of the pandemic. While some anxiously waited for their jobs to return, Rudy Owls took a chance on a family passion, opening up a new restaurant called Khalil's Kitchen on Main Street in Brockton.
We're family owned and operated, so it's mostly family. We used to just all do different things. We all had different careers, and we figured it's a place for us to be together and continue to expand the brand. So I started cooking from home. My son, Khalil, was always in the kitchen, and he basically just used to do the funniest things with food, and I used to joke around with him and tell him I'd open up a kitchen one day and name it after him. And one thing led to another. I started cooking at home, and people started buying the plates from home, and I decided to, go all the way and see what I can do with it, and that's kind of how Khalil started. We're mostly like a traditional lunch and dinner, but we also have smoothies and milkshakes that are all made here. It's kind of a fusion kitchen. We don't go by just one thing, but a lot of people kind of say soul, Caribbean, American style food. But we always switch it up.
What it's like to work here, it's fun. It has its moments when, it gets busy and everyone's working together, but overall, we are like a family over here. Yeah, I love it. It's my passion. I enjoy being here every day, working hard, and making my customers happy. We all wear gloves here and there, and we try to make sure we all take our COVID tests and make sure, we're healthy over here. The sweet chili chicken with the fries. It's the most popular item on the menu. Can't go wrong with that. It comes with plain fries, mozzarella, red onions, green onions, tomatoes with the protein and the sauce.
So actually the owner, Khalil, was there. So he was there passing the food around. It was really good to just see a person of color, specifically a black man, at his business and actually putting in the work, greeting customers. The restaurant does do delivery, but not directly from the restaurant. It would either be like Grubhub, DoorDash. So you're able to order from the restaurant directly and have the option to pay for your food online, and then you went to go pick it up.
On a scale of 1 to 10, just from the one thing I ordered, I'd say it's a 10. Everyone should come at least once and try something from the menu.
The food was good. It's just like good comfort food. I enjoyed it. I'll definitely come back.
Alves loves cooking for his family, friends, and community, and he hopes to open up another restaurant somewhere in Boston in the future. While the pandemic has brought us plenty of negatives, Alves was able to turn his situation into a positive.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Rudy from Khalil's Kitchen. I just want to start off by saying thank you to everybody who has made my dreams come true and made my vision possible. If it wasn't for y'all, I would not be where I'm at.
Thanks, Raquel.
Term 2 in the first semester have officially come to a close. If you were out yesterday, be sure to get your schedule to know where you're going, starting Monday.
With the closing of this semester, we'd like to give a very enthusiastic congratulations to all the seniors that finished Capstone. All of the presentations were very impressive.
Mrs. Payon clearly did a good job with those seniors. Speaking of Mrs. Payon, Brianna is going to highlight an aspect of her that you may not have known.
We all have childhood dreams that we wish to accomplish as we get older. Maybe it's to go into our particular profession or be famous one day. Whatever it is, we all try to achieve that dream, but sadly life doesn't always work in our favor, and as we age, dreams that looked so attainable as a kid becomes a distant memory of childhood past.
So ever since I was young, I've always had a love of literature. I've loved reading. I've always enjoyed it. You know, when I was younger, I would play library or bookstore and things like that. And it's been a lifelong dream of me to always own my own small independent bookstore. And I've always said to my husband, if we ever won the lottery, the first thing I would do is buy a bookstore. Once I graduated from college and I was out in the workforce, it was just something that was always in the back of my head that I wanted, you know, oh, I would love to someday do this. Life gets in the way though, and sometimes those dreams get pushed even further back in your mind. Now I'm getting older, you know, over 20 years since I've graduated from college and had that dream first sparked. I just was getting to the point where you don't always think it's gonna be something that comes to fruition. There is a small bookstore in the town we live in, Easton, and I frequented there a lot. And over the summer, there was an article on Facebook that the woman who owned it, Trish Peterson, was retiring and selling the bookstore. So I practically jumped out of my seat. I was so excited because I saw it as an opportunity to chase my dream. I mean, I could have said, oh, I have 3 kids and, you know, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I don't have the time to open a bookstore, but I wanted to take that opportunity. If it didn't pan out, then, you know, I could look back and say, I tried. Whereas if I had never talked to her and never put that offer in, 20 years from now, I could be going, oh, could that have happened? Could that be me? So don't pass up on the opportunities that are in front of you. You know, take the leap, even though it can be scary, because you never know what will come from it. So when I saw the article that Mrs. Peterson was selling the bookstore and I put the offer in, it was cross your fingers and hope. And just after having conversations with her and I forming a very quick bond and relationship together just from meeting about the bookstore and her saying, you know what, I want you to take over. I feel that you and I are similar in many ways. It was just very exciting, and it was a dream come true that I never thought would come true. So I was, I cried, I laughed, I jumped up and down, every emotion I went through. So the name of the store is Paperback Junction. It's been in business for 38 years. It started out as a used paperback store, so they only sold used books and they were only paperbacks, hence Paperback Junction. Now we've brought in new books as well, so we still sell old used books, but we also have new releases. We have classics, fiction, nonfiction, hardcover and paperback.
Congrats to Ms. Payon on never giving up, and for those interested, the bookstore is located at 619 Washington Street in Southeaston. With that being said, this has been Brianna Graziano reporting for Code Blue News. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Brianna.
That's all for this week. I'm Sam Hobart.
And I'm Dalis Rodriguez-Vieira. See you next Friday.
We gotta bump to the...